Ding, and with that ding or that dong, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to day 2 of Radiant Renewal. I hope that you had a great afternoon and great evening after that incredible visualization yesterday. I did hear from so many of you that it did just keep going, and more continued to unravel and unfurl and open. So that is so beautiful. That's exactly what it's intended for. It is not a static one and done kind of thing. It is something just to open the gates and let the imagination kind of take over. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I would love to hear from some of you as well, if you are open to sharing, what some of the things were that you saw in your visualizations. What kinds of textures, what kinds of clothes, what kinds of smells, what kinds of colors. I'd love to hear. Just go ahead and throw it in the chat. Beautiful, beautiful. And a good note, a good reminder, thank you. Yes, we do have the link to the immersion workbook in the chat. So if that's where you jotted some of your notes, I do invite you to open that up. And for those of you that might not have been able to be here live yesterday, the link is in the chat. It is about 9 pages front and back, and it's a great place to take notes. It's a great place to kind of gather some more information about what we're talking about today. So looking in the chat, seeing you saw lots of soft clothes. I love it. Big fluffy couch. One of you was on the beach watching the palm trees go. I love it. I love it. I love it. One of you was in a new apartment. I love it. Okay. Oh, a big fluffy bed with big fluffy pillows. Sounds amazing right now, doesn't it? Oh, excellent, excellent. And as the day progressed, and we went through that next phase of writing in the journal, what were some of the things that you had done in that perfect day as well, if you're open to sharing? Had lunch with my girlfriends, went for a long walk in the woods. I got organized in my calendar. Beautiful. That does sound like that would be a perfect day. Oh, so good. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Well, that again is just kind of the foundation that we're building. And from there, we are going to move those things forward and try and create that dream life, that perfect day in more of a regular fashion in your current life. So well done, well done, well done. And again, once the floodgates have opened and once imagination has opened, it is a beautiful thing. It's as though the seeds have been planted and that flower will continue to bloom and blossom. And I encourage you to allow that to continue to unfold. So we talked a little bit yesterday about our life being a science experiment. And we are both the scientist and the experiment. And if we can keep that openness and that curiosity and that inquisitiveness and that wanting to explore and do more, and that experiments can be tinkered with all the time, that is kind of the definition of science, right? Try this, adjust that, adjust this until we get it just right. And is it ever just right? One of my mentors, my spiritual mentor, who is actually a doctor of mine, naturopath, told me the goalpost always moves. And it's so true. And I mean, I think that is the perfect definition of life as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you get to what you think your goal is or what you think the win is, and you take that win, and this is what we're going to do on Friday. And then you recalibrate, and the goalpost moves again, and the goal moves again. And that's all good. That's all good. Because when we stop trying, and if we get to the absolute finish line, then God bless. See you on the other side. Exactly. Beautiful. So, as we talked about life being the experiment and you being both the scientist and the experiment, did anybody bring a lab partner today? I asked if you wanted to bring a lab partner to be a buddy. Anybody bring a lab partner? They're catching it on the replay, couldn't make it fit. Okay, that's all good. The point is, we need community. And community, it's so much more fun when you get to do these types of things and go into these deep dives to be able to share with one another kind of what you're going through. And everybody has their own unique journey, but there are so many incredible nuggets of wisdom from us sharing with one another. And so I encourage you to continue to do that. Beautiful. So doing these types of guided visualizations, it opens this incredible door to what we may have never thought possible or never thought could actually be reality. But when we bring in all of the senses, all of our 5 senses, and then some, when you can actually start to see things, touch things, feel things, smell things, hear things, it makes it more real. And then it's not so esoteric. And that makes it more possible for our subconscious to believe that we actually can have that. So that is one of the reasons why I did put so much detail, asking for so much detail, is so that the subconscious can start to recognize, hey, that's real. That's for real. We can actually do that. So thank you for playing along yesterday, and I can't wait to see how that continues to expand for you. All right, fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and get grounded in. We will give, like we did yesterday, our mind and our ego a little timeout. So you can physically pretend like you're doing that and setting it down. You can just wish it and imagine, but say, mind, ego, you get to take another little vacation. I'm going to set you over here. I am fine. I am safe. I am going to be listening to my heart right now. You're good. You have worked so hard. You just rest right there. Thank you. I'll be back to you in a little bit. And then let's go ahead with that out of the way. Rub your hands together, create some friction, create some heat. There are so many nerves in our hands and in our feet. And this actually, when you rub your hands together and you push them together, create a little pressure, that actually connects right to your heart. That activates the energetic field of your heart. It's always activated, but it enhances it. It brings more intentionality to it. And so from here, let's just take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, filling up those lungs. Make your belly, your lungs, your ribs feel like they're a balloon, expanding to as big as possible, and breathe out through the mouth with a whoosh. So you're squishing the balloon. 2 more like that. And really just let it all go. We're halfway through the day, but already just let it all go. If it feels good to move your neck, loosen it up. Go right ahead. 1 more big one. Maybe even with sound this time. Give a little wiggle. Awesome, 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 awesome. And I want you to feel your sits bones sitting on your chair, sitting on the ground, wherever you are. If you have a back to your chair, go ahead and lean into that. If you're just sitting on the ground, really feel the earth beneath you. I'm already getting into the zone. And really, I just want you to feel supported. Do you feel that? You can actually just relax into this. This is for you today. We're going to do some deep work today. So just feel supported. Know that you are. Let me do a quick screen share so that you see where we are. There we go. So you are in the right place if you're here for Radiant Renewal, the 5-day immersion. Welcome back. And there we go. So yesterday we did reimagine what our life could look like. Today we are going to renew. What does that mean? We are going to, let me just do this, start to master our self-renewal. We're going to do a little reviving. I'm going to stop screen sharing and come back to me. So today we are going to start to touch on why it is that we are not continually feeling the way that we want to feel, like we felt in that visualization yesterday. And we as moms are givers. We give to our kids. We give all of our energy. We give our love. We give our time. We give our energy. We give our patience. We give. So not only to our kids, but to our partners, to our parents, to our friends, to the organizations that we belong to, whether that be work or volunteering. It's just give, give, give. And we give from the heart. Don't get me wrong. It's not like we're victims here. But we need to be able to fill our cups. So I don't know if any of you went to any of the Back from My Parent Coaching Days, any of those webinars where we talked about the self-determination theory. Remember, and we have those 3 components of what it means to feel our best. And specifically, we were talking about toddlers and their tantrums or behaviors in our kids. And when our kids do not have their needs met, they tend to act out. Guess what? We're still the same humans. And we as moms don't often take the time to put our own oxygen mask on first, to fill our own cups. A lot of times we are looking for others to read our minds, thinking that they should know us well enough, that they should know what we need and we want, or why can't somebody take care of me? And it oftentimes will get to the point, and we as moms have our temper tantrums as well. That could be bursting out in tears. That could be yelling and screaming and completely getting a little out of control because we're just spent and our cups are empty. And our cups might even be to the point of cracked and empty. And so today, what we're going to focus on is how to fill our own cups. We have other people that we can rely on, yes. but we know our own needs best. And so when we can maintain our own cups being filled, we are far less likely to be triggered. We are far less likely to get overly emotional. We are far less likely to spout off. We are far less likely to go down the rabbit hole of depression and anxiety that can often strike, especially as we're going through these hormonal changes as we're getting older. Do you remember back in your teenage days? There are doctors that say that the type of transition that you had into adolescence, when the hormones changed when you were anywhere between 10 and 14, all the way up to 16 for girls, can be mirrored when we start to hit this perimenopause phase. And so, if this was, if you had a lot, we're going down more rabbit hole than I wanted to today, but to really belabor the point here, if you were highly emotional as a teen, the chances are that you may also be highly emotional and have some super sensitivities as you go through perimenopause as an adult. And so that is something just to be mindful of. There's no right or wrong. It is just an awareness. And thus, being more aware of what sets you off, you can fill your own cups so that doesn't happen quite as often, if at all. So I want to give you a case in point so that you understand. I'll share a story, and I'm going to share one of my own stories about myself and how this played out. And there are two different things. I started to really go down a really dark, ugly hole. And for any of you that have known me for any period of time, you know that I'm usually pretty upbeat, pretty optimistic. It is my nature. It's not an effort to do that. I don't try to do that. That's my resting face, if you will. And so this was about 3 years ago, which is when I really started getting into, well, let me finish the story first. I really went into a depression. I really did not want to stay on this earth. I was ready to be done. And it was such a scary thing because I had never experienced anything like this before. There was, at surface level, nothing wrong with my life. People looking in from the outside, I have the perfect life. I had the dogs, I have the house, I have the husband, I have the son, and they're all happy and healthy. And, we are able to do what we need to do as far as running the household. We're able to go on vacation once or twice a year. And I have friends and I have my own health. So looking in from the outside, you would think, she's got her shit together. She's golden, whatever. It was not that way. But this is where our hormones and our emotions and our needs are driving the bus. And this bus was about to run into the wall. So this is when I really started to, when I got to the point of planning what outfits I was going to wear for the events that I had 3 different events that I was going to use to end it. And I had it all planned out. And there was one day that I woke up and, I would just be crying and crying and crying constantly. And neither my husband nor my son knew what to do. And they just were like, yeah, this is so not normal. I don't know what to do. But there was one morning that I woke up, thank God. And I was like, what the hell? And I started doing some soul searching and I started doing a lot of journaling. And then I was starting to be able to see how everything had built up over time for so long that the cup was cracked. And I then came to the realization after lots of reading, lots of meditating, lots of research, all the studies, that I just needed to take care of myself. And it is oftentimes the outside world that reflects back to us the inner chaos. So I started to see all of these things that were really ticking me off, really busting my chops from the outside world. And it was all of these things that were being reflected back to me that's what I needed. That's why I was so pissed, when my husband was sitting on the couch having fun playing his games. God damn it. How could you be having fun? I'm not having fun. It went on and on and on. But it was such a blessing in disguise because that is what led me to here. Now, there are a lot of people that don't know how to get out of that. Thankfully, I did. This came up again even just a couple of weeks ago when school started. I started to see the patterns, but now I can see the patterns. So school started on a Wednesday. By Friday, we had all jumped back into our own ruts. This is just, that was the trigger. That was the event that was tied to. That was the anchor point for us going back in line. And, this also happens when you get back together with your family. If you haven't been around your family or around holidays, people just kind of go back into their old ways of doing things. And again, it's subconscious. So my son stepped back into his brilliance and his kind of like Leo. I'm back in school. I get to be, I get to do this again. And he was all happy. And that was his rut. That was his routine. That's not a bad thing. It sounds like that's such a negative connotation. But that was his pattern. My pattern was martyrdom. Oh my God, I have to take him to school again. And now I have to get up on his schedule. And now my schedule is disrupted because he comes first. Oh, martyrdom. Oh. And now I have to make sure that the meals are all planned and da, 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 da. And that affects my blah, blah, blah. And then, so I'm stuck in my martyrdom. And my husband is then thinking, shit, what's left for me? I'm over here. Hello, I'm over here. I'm over here. So he's trying to get attention. What am I, chopped liver? And thankfully, it only took 2 days for me to see the pattern. And I actually we laughed about it now. I was, I had this conversation with it and I'm like, oh my God, do you see how we have done this? This is crazy. But again, it's just the awareness. And so that's why I want to be able to bring this awareness to you right now so that you can start to see, when are my cups empty? What cups are there? What do I need? And so from here, we are going to move into a couple more journal prompts. Alrighty? So I've got some fun music. We're all grounded. Let's take another breath because I took us a little out of our zone there. Let's just take another 2 deep cleansing breaths. Maybe even flip your hand on your head like this. We'll come back into polarization, being tied to the ground and to our higher self. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So if you remember, or maybe you didn't know, so with the self-determination theory, there are basically 3 cups that we need to maintain in order to stay at an even keel. And those cups are connection. You need to feel connection. You need to feel love. As I mentioned, we're going to fill our own cups. So connecting to yourself is just connecting to your inner child, connecting to your heart, connecting to yourself. You can do that through journaling. You can do that through a walk. You can do that through dancing. However it is that you feel connected to yourself in a positive, life-affirming, fulfilling way. So don't worry about, we don't have to jump ahead yet. I'm just giving you the backstory and then we'll dive into it. The other one is authority. You need to feel as though you have authority over yourself, that you are in control of yourself, that you have an ability to say what is yes and what is no. And this is a big one for us, how our schedule is managed, where we can actually have say in our lives, where we actually have some authority in our own life and how it is managed. And then there is autonomy, and that is being able to do things on our own for ourselves. So in some couples, That can be that, the other partner, the other spouse has control over the money and you don't have any control and you're always having to ask for the money. And so that feels like shit. And then that could also be that, maybe you're trying to lose weight and there is a very strict diet that you have been told about, but that does not feel good. And don't tell me what to eat and when to exercise and how to exercise. That does not feel good. That is not me being able to listen to myself. And so that basically comes down to being able to listen to your own intuition and act on that, being able to listen to your own gut and act on that and do what you want to do. Be able to be the kid, listen to your inner child. Maybe it does just want to play hooky today and go dancing. Maybe it wants to jump in the puddle. Maybe it wants to have a nap today. Maybe it does want to have ice cream today, and that's fine. But we need to be able to feel as though we have some semblance of autonomy in our life. So those are the three main buckets. There are a lot of different components. There are a lot of different emotions and things that fall into each of those buckets or cups. And that is for you to decide for yourself and how you feel. And much of this is also a pattern. So yesterday I also talked about we look for patterns, not problems. So these things that you feel that you would like to have more of in your life, don't look at it as a problem. Look at it as a pattern which gives you more empowerment to do something about it. If it's a problem, then it just feels like, versus a pattern, which, oh, I see that. Well, I can change that. Okay, I can change that. I can do that. Hell yes, I'm not a victim. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and jump into a few journal prompts. So go ahead and take out your notebook or the workbook that you have. And we're going to bring up some of the triggers right now. Then we're going to take a break and do some breath work to just kind of let that sit and then open up our thoughts on how we can do things differently on a go-forward basis. So just to give you a little insight into how this is going to play out. So can you think about the times when you are triggered or are most likely to act harshly or react harshly? And this could look like, again, we're looking for patterns here. So is this when you have a shitty night of sleep? This could be you haven't worked out. This is something for me. If I don't work out at least every other day, I get really cranky and my body really starts to hurt. And that makes me even more cranky. Could it be if you had too much to drink one night, that the night before, and then you didn't sleep well, and then you feel like shit, and that just kind of compounds? Could it be when your kids have been asking for a lot of your time and you've been giving it to them, and then they're not reciprocating or they're not showing their appreciation, or your husband or your spouse or your partner? Is it if you have a feeling of resentment, unwind that. And see if there is a pattern. If you start to have a feeling of frustration, whether it's with one person on the same theme or the same topic over and over and over again, or if it's the same topic but with multiple people over and over and over again, that's a pattern. What is it about that pattern? Where does that actually stem from? And we'll move towards the results in a little bit. But right now, we're just going to, let's think about where these things stem from. If you're feeling lonely, if you feel taken for granted, what kind of leads up to the breaking point? Is it a certain amount of time? And it is completely fine if you don't know. It could just be, you know what? Taking the first step. That is the feeling that I have. Yeah, I couldn't really put my finger on it, but yeah, I feel resentful. Or, yeah, I feel just empty. Like I don't have a purpose aside from being a taxi and a chef or a cook or a maid. So that's all you've got. Just name that. That's fine. Okay, I'll give you another minute to kind of capture the empty buckets, what those feel like, what happens. And if you can, take a couple of steps back and tie it back to how the depletion commenced, where the leak in the cup might be. That's great. Okay. So that gets kind of ugly and yucky and heavy. So what we're going to do is we are going to, first of all, I want you to stand up. I told you this was an immersion, and so we're not going to just be sitting on Zoom all the time. So stand up, and we are going to let our nervous system know that we are actually safe. So we just dredged up a lot, and that can tense up the nervous system. That can oftentimes put us into fight, flight, or freeze, which is what happens when we react, when we get triggered, when we choose not to respond and think through, but the automatic way that we do things. And so for most of us, our nervous systems are triggered right now. So we're going to do something as simple as just shaking. And it's tough to see my legs, but just shaking like this. We're just getting back into our bodies. Breathe in through your nose. Audible sound. Maybe move your head, move your jaw, move your shoulders up and down. Get silly with it if you want to ragdoll. Okay. All right. Okay. Sit back down. Doesn't that feel better? That is available to you at any time for free. And why do you think kids do that? Like to jump around? Okay. A little bit like jelly. So right now, what we're going to do just for a couple of minutes is something called alternate nostril breathing. And this helps to balance the right and the left side of the brain, the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, and balance. So it's quite simple. It's going to be breathing in and out through your nose. If you have a stuffed nose right now, go ahead, get a tissue. It will also loosen up congestion, so just know that as well. I know it's time for allergy season, so that might be happening. So with one hand. Doesn't matter if it's your right hand or your left hand, whatever is your dominant hand or whatever feels good. I am going to invite you to put your finger right in between your eyebrows, your middle finger. It's resting there. All right. Then with your thumb, you're going to close this nostril. For me, it's my right nostril. And I'm going to breathe in. And out through my left nostril. Then I'm going to take my ring finger and I'm going to tighten or plug my left nostril, and I'm going to breathe in and out through my right nostril. And we're going to do that just for a couple of minutes. You don't need to be thinking anything. Your body does it automatically. Just balancing the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. You're breathing, if you want to set yourself up for a goal or some expansion, try and get that breath all the way down into your belly. You may have your belly go out. And collapse it in on the exhale. One more round each side. Excellent, excellent. Now you can just put your hands on your lap. Notice what's changed. That was just like 2 minutes. Good? Yeah, good. Okay. All right, so for the next few minutes, we are going to do some journaling. So we brought up a lot of the stuff, and now we are going to look for some solutions. So this is just how your life goes. So that's why we're journaling, because it is going to be unique for each of you. So first journal question, and I will put this in the chat as well. Where in your life are you feeling currently empty, resentful, or neglected right now? I'll take 3 minutes on each of these. I'm going to turn some music on. Where in your life are you feeling empty, resentful, and neglected right now? Nobody else is going to see this. Be honest with yourself. This is just for you. There's no right or wrong. And if that is not the case in your life right now, just enjoy the music. Everybody hear the music? Okay, good. Yeah, that can also be lonely. Yep. Yes, that can also be hurt. Yeah. It's a great, yep. It's a great thing to be journaling on as well. Yes. These are feelings within you. So these are things, feelings, emotions that you have that would, if they were taken care of, if you didn't feel, what has caused you to feel resentful? What has caused you to feel empty? When you think about that and when you get into that state, what are the things that come up from your subconscious to say, it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of this? We're not passing any judgment on anyone. We are not blaming anyone. There is no shame in this. No one is at fault. This is just where we are, the reality of life right now. We're not going to stew in this long. One more minute here. Okay. This is all our truth. This is all our reality right now. This is all self-realization. So this is the good work. You're doing great work. All right, we're going to shift gears and we are going to look at what could you do to make yourself feel better without needing anyone else to provide input, without looking outside. What can you do for yourself inside? What actions might that be? What activities might that be? What can you do for yourself? So some examples of this could be journaling. Some examples could be taking a bath, taking a day for yourself, getting a day pass from your daytime life. Maybe somebody else could pick up the kids. Maybe somebody else could make dinner, or you could order dinner. Maybe it could be a weekend day and you just block 6 or 8 hours for yourself to just be. Maybe it's just sitting maybe it's going to a museum and just staring at one painting. Maybe it's, rubbing your feet yourself, self-massage, getting a massage. What can you do to make yourself feel better? If it's that lonely, maybe it's, like I said, going to a museum. Maybe it's going to a mall, although there aren't many people. You might feel more lonely at a mall these days. Maybe it's going out for lunch with a friend. Maybe it's going to a park. Maybe it's asking for a sit-down conversation, or just going to a movie, just sitting down and asking, can we just have some quiet time ourselves tonight? If it's resentful, can you have a conversation? And we will talk tomorrow about how to have conversations as well, empowered conversations. But maybe it's having a conversation saying, you know what, I am just spent. We're starting a new schedule. I'm doing some new things for myself. Can you do your own laundry? And it's not in a negative, blaming, shaming kind of way, but I think it's time for you to start to learn how to do some laundry. I think it's time for you to start doing dishes, or we'll rotate days that we do dishes. Maybe it's putting together a carpool so you don't have to be the one all the time. Or maybe your kids can take the bus 1 or 2 or 3 days a week. What could you do for yourself? Think outside of the box. We're looking at the patterns and then we're looking to shift the patterns. We're not looking at the problems that there are. We're looking to be more open-minded, more curious, more inquisitive, more problem-solving oriented. The scientist and the experiment. What if I tried this? Doesn't have to be definitive. What can we just try and see if it sticks? See if it helps. May not solve the problem overnight, but it certainly might help to start filling that cup, or at least patching the leak. Okay. Good. And then going back to each of those things from that brainstorming list, let's start to qualify them. How do each of those things help you to feel more fulfilled? So again, if we think about the buckets of connection, do any of those help you feel more connected, either to yourself or to them? Just make you feel more fulfilled? Do those actions help you feel like you have a little more say in your life, a little more authority over your life? Or that you can do things on your own, that autonomy? How do they make you feel? If you were to do those actions, or maybe you've done them in the past, but you just haven't done them on a regular basis, how do they help you feel better, more fulfilled? Any questions around that? Keep going on that for a while, because this is important. This is the magic. And as you start to realize how those actions or activities do help you to feel better, that might open the door for more ideas. And again, go crazy. Don't think about the parameters of what your life looks like right now, because that's not working as well as it could. So open the door, open the box. There's no fucking box. Just think of all of the different things. If time, money, location were not an option, what would make you feel really good? What would make you feel fulfilled? Write it down. And how and why is that? What is it about that makes you feel good, feel fulfilled, feel better in your life? I'll take 3 more minutes on that. Because that's the gold. That's the alchemy. That's taking all of the stuff, the muck, the lead that has kept us weighed down, and that is turning it into gold. One more minute. Excellent. Such good work. Okay, let's check in. What kinds of activities did you guys think about that can help fill your cups? Getting up earlier to have more time for myself. Perfect. Making myself lunch every day instead of being angry. I'm sorry, it does say hangry. The time I have to go for pickup. See? Genius! Taking myself for a walk. I love it. You know, I invite you with that. I do that too for myself. And every once in a while, like I have the dog, and usually I take the dog. Sometimes just going by yourself, even without the dog, absolutely no responsibility, feels amazing, feels so freeing. Watching the sunset. And especially now, as we're getting into fall and that happens earlier and earlier. Yeah, make that happen. So over the next couple of days, we're going to talk about how to weave these in and figure out what we can take off that ain't working anymore and weave more of this goodness in. Yeah. Booking a massage for myself every week. Awesome. 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 Drinking more water. Sometimes it can be as simple as that. Yes. 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 Getting outside. Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Great work. And yeah, allow these things to continue to marinate and unfold. And, you know, this is something, you know, we've got all of these amazing resources for us now, technology. Google it, put it in ChatGPT, ask for other ideas because we don't know our blind spots, right? That's why you're here right now. Sometimes there might be things that, or maybe it's even going back to your childhood and what made you happy in your childhood. You know, is there something there that you can pull from again and do it? It can be all kinds of different things. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I do want to introduce an idea to you, an option for you. So this 5-day immersion that we're going through is really just, we're doing the tip of the iceberg each day. I mean, 1 hour a day for 5 days is not going to be the depths that you can go into for your entire life, but it is a fabulous jumping off point. So if you have been following me at all, you know that I have transitioned into more of this mom life coaching. And I do have a program that I am starting. I've been testing it with a few individuals on an individual basis, and they have had incredible results. I myself have been doing this for about 6 months and have had incredible results. And so I do want to be able to offer this to you. This is what I call a beta. So a first group. Here is the link to that. And it is a 6-week immersion. So all of this stuff that we're doing on a daily basis, we will actually dive deeper over an entire week into these things. And you have access to me through our community forum. You have the entire community available to you. So everybody is going through this at the same time, and you can share wins and losses. And, you know, if you find a resource that is great, sharing that is beautiful and brilliant. And because it is the first group that I will go through this program with, I am offering this to you. Let me show you this. I need your insight and I need your thoughts on it. So I am offering this to you. So here's the 6-week program. We talk about mindset. We talk about transforming time. We talk about figuring out what it takes to make you feel fulfilled. And then we put together a plan to get you there. We help move the stuck energy. We help go through and go over the patterns. We talk about thoughts and behaviors to move you into more of that elevated life on a regular basis. So not just, I do a retreat and for 4 days I feel good and then I go back to my old life. No, this is how to maintain that life going forward. And then so many of you helped to fill out the survey in talking about what you are looking for more in your life. And so it's also about deepening those connections, not only with yourself, but with those loved ones, the ones that really matter, and to have those relationships be nice and solid for the long haul. So we're going to do a lot of breath work. We're going to do energy movement. This is movement stuff. So we are moving things in the body. As an example, we've been doing a little bit of breath work right now. We're going to do more over the next few days. But as an example, the ribs are where energy gets stored for resentment. And so think about that. When you are angry, when you are resentful, when you are frustrated, it's shallow breathing. You're typically not breathing big, full. And so that starts to become the fascia, the muscles, and everything that remains tight. And that's where it gets stuck. So as an example, we will do things to help move that energy, loosen that up, and thus loosen up the resentment. Anger is stored in the liver. We'll do different things to massage the liver and to move things around there, to move and shift stuck patterns. And you are going to be floored when you see how what sounds so incredibly woo-woo, people have been doing for thousands of years. This is kind of like Chinese medicine. These are the same meridians and things that we'll be working with through acupuncture. I've become certified in a number of different modalities with that. So I fully understand what the body does. And that's where, I said the other day, we oftentimes just tolerate our bodies, but our bodies are filled with so much information, so much wisdom for us. They really are kind of like the bullhorn or the canary in the coal mine to tell us what's actually going on with all of our behaviors and our thoughts and our feelings, and then what needs to be addressed. And we can take those in order. So we'll do lots of breath work and energy movement work as well. So there is a transformation workbook and journal. There will be more journaling. But for you guys that do want to join me in this first round, I'm going to offer you VIP access included. So on a go-forward basis, the course itself is going to be $997. The VIP component is going to be $1497. And the VIP component is the customized. So, if there's one specific thing that you want to really focus on, I will customize breathwork and energy work for you. I will customize journal prompts for you. There is also just the information that is within the program without the VIP, which is still super transformational. But for you guys that do come in this first round, you get the VIP. You get me for extra and customized, and it's all good. And then at the very end, the last week, we're going to do a gorgeous ceremony. So when you actually put a ritual around, when you put a ceremony, when you fully embody the change, you're not going to go back, because you have become this new version of yourself, this version that you've been dreaming of, this new version of you. This is where we recalibrate. And it is so. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And again, this has been done for thousands of years in so many different communities, indigenous tribes, with the elders. It's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage, and it's just beautiful. So it comes from a lot of the shamanic work that I have been doing. And so we will make it into a gorgeous ritual and ceremony to have you graduate into your new, beautiful, brilliant life. All right, so I want to offer that to you. This is just for you that are in this immersion. And so the price is $497 because there does need to be an energetic exchange. And I do need you to have skin in the game to be able to make these changes, because this is going to be work. This is changing your life. If it was easy, you would have already done it. Having others with you for a support, for what's the word that I want to use? Accountability is huge. And that is how you make the changes that actually last. So for the 5-day immersion action taker bonuses, you get, for the first 10 people, we will do the full VIP experience, because otherwise I won't have time to do it well. And I want to do it very, very well. So for the first 10 people that do take advantage of this early action taker price of $497, you'll get the full VIP experience. So we'll talk more about this. I'll put this up each day, but we still have a lot of work to do. Also, tomorrow we are going to be talking about reigniting. So that is how to have conversations, empowered conversations with, stop sharing because the link is in the chat. How to have the empowered conversations with your support crew so that they are on board as well. And it is a win-win for everybody. It's not naming, it's not blaming, it's not shaming, it's not having them be resentful. It's putting everything into context, and nobody makes us feel bad. They're not being nefarious about it, or at least let's call it 98% of them are not in our lives. That may happen in other people's lives, but not in our lives. But we'll talk about how to have those conversations. And then we'll also talk about how to connect with yourself on a more deep level so that you can really start listening to your heart more, and listening to your soul more, and listening to your intuition more, so that you know what is a yes for you and what is not a yes for you, so that you feel as though your cups are still full with connection and autonomy and authority. And then on Thursday, we will talk about receiving, and it's basically taking a look at everything that you have done throughout your life and using that as rocket fuel to be able to fuel you forward. There are so many people think that at this point in my life, I can't change. This is just these are the cards that I've been dealt, and this is how it is, and I can't change, and I've tried before and it hasn't worked, or I can't afford that right now, but can you really afford to continue to feel like shit and be resentful? It's just the perfect time to really look at all of the change that you have already done. And I Googled this morning. It takes a caterpillar anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months to fully, it depends on the breed, or not the breed, the version of the butterfly, the type of the butterfly, to go from caterpillar through the chrysalis, through the transformation, through the metamorphosis into becoming a butterfly. And so you're going to need fuel and nourishment along the way to be able to get you to the butterfly state. And that's what we are going to talk about with the receiving. That is going to be the nourishment that you need and the self-care that you need to be able to, like I said, rocket fuel to take you forward. And then on the last day, we are going to recalibrate. We are going to celebrate you. We are going to, this is the new norm. This is me. I have become this. And it is also going to be full, free, open Q&A for all the questions that you have, either about this, about breath work, about parenting, whatever it is you want to talk about. All right. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing work today. It's going to be just as deep, if not deeper, tomorrow. Well, I don't know. I'll leave that to you, for you to judge. These questions are available to you. We've got the workbook, and continue to explore. Continue to see what it is that you can do to help feel fulfilled, happy, joyful. Keep that barometer feeling fueled. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Bye.